In recent times I have been thinking about pen and paper role-playing games, and I love pen and paper role-playing games and I love talking about them, and luckily I have an online circle of friends that is very, very nerdy. But it's also very international, so the role-playing systems they tend to talk about are Dungeons and Dragons or Warhammer, and I have never really gotten any deep into any of those two. I, as a German, grew up with a role-playing system known as the Realm of the Dark Eye. It's a German role-playing system, it's a generic medieval fantasy setting, and I think it is very, very German. And that doesn't just mean that there are lots of words like Kampfprobenerschwernis, Steigerungskostentabelle, or Zauberfertigkeitspunkte Stern. It means that while it is very generic, it is also very intricately crafted and well put together. And that brings to the table a lot of opportunities for players and game masters alike, that not many people outside of Germany had the opportunity to partake in. In terms of lore, the Realm of the Dark Eye started out as a generic copy of Dungeons and Dragons in order to get around paying licensing fees. And as Dungeons and Dragons developed further in its own direction, so did the Realm of the Dark Eye. In the Realm of the Dark Eye you will find nothing such as the Tomb of Horrors or Mind Flayers or Beholders. Where the Realm of the Dark Eye truly developed and shines is that the world is sprinkled with historical figures and events. There are many campaigns which concern themselves with events within the world that are sometimes referenced in other campaigns, or books, or video games. On the Realm of the Dark Eye, look for Drakensang on Steam. It's a very good game. People who play pen and paper role-playing game influences that this game had. I can very much recommend it to everyone who's interested in either just pen and paper role-playing games as video games or in the Realm of the Dark Eye specifically. If you look at the monsters and lore of the Dark Eye, you will not find things like Mind Flayers or Beholders. The world seems very normal and small, but very rich at the same time. It is densely packed with cultures and personalities and events. And the dangers come from powerful individuals and important alliances and groups of people. The most epic stories and campaigns that a player can play concern themselves with historical events or epic journeys. It is great to be part of these historical events because you feel as if you were really changing something in the world and as if you were moving political alliances forward and similar things. This is what makes this world so finely crafted and perfectly put in place. Because there is a skill for every kind of action that one can think of. Everything that happens can be an opportunity for a character to shine because they're specialized in that, or grow because they're not very good at it but can learn. Only if you use a skill can you actually level up that skill. So people will take great care to, for example, write something down in their adventure logbooks every evening or carve a bit of wood in order to further certain skills ahead and be able to grow their character. And that is a form of world building that everyone can take part in and not just observe. It is a true interactive experience in a way that I really appreciate. And speaking of the skills, there is a skill for everything, really, as I said. There are skills for every kind of thing that you can imagine. From running and climbing and wilderness survival down to different languages, knowledge of anything academic that you can think of. Any kind of craftsmanship. All have their own specific skills that a character can be good at or bad at, can shine or learn. The system overall is very similar to GURPS in this fashion, that it also has single skills that are leveled up, just that instead of 3 attributes, we have 8 attributes. And all the rolls, all the checks are done with d20, and then an additional d6 for rolling, for example, damage or regeneration. So we only have 2 dice that we need to use, and because all the rolls are very basic and simple, it is easy to make up new types of rules, new types of roles, new abilities and new skills if one desires to do so. And that has led to the fact that no gaming table that I've ever been a part of has not had some kind of individual house rule that they used to either do something that wasn't possible through the rules or do something more elegantly than the rules were, because the rules, as they are stacked upon each other, can get kinda clunky. The rulebooks themselves are full of optional rules that one can just leave out, and even if one leaves them all out, there are still things that some people would consider too much or too clunky. And similar, there are so many starting professions that it's sometimes just mind-boggling. There is a starting profession for anything you can think of, because there are no solid classes, with the exception of magic that a character has to be born into and also taught in. There is no limitation what a character can achieve over the course of adventures and growing. Like, for example, one can play as a prostitute, and that prostitute can develop to become a spy, or a diplomat, or a trader, or a warrior. One can play as a storyteller that just goes out into the world to live through an adventure and then tell that adventure as a story. There is really no limitation, well, except for magic, but magic itself is also very modifiable, with spells not being rigid things that are just cast. They are prepared in a manner not like the spells in Dungeons and Dragons are prepared for a spell slot, but that they can be modified on the fly, but require specific things to work depending on the type of caster. A mage would use an incantation and a gesture and some preparation time, but a witch would have to work herself into a specific emotional state, like sob for a target they have sympathy for, or maniacally laugh and cackle as they are about to destroy their opponent, or work themselves into a furious rage. And druids would have to cast off any worked metal that they had on their body, including their coin purse, just to have a closer touch to nature. And all of these restrictions from the rules can also be seen as guides for role-playing, that one can really lose oneself in the experience. And the Dark Eye truly is a role-playing system for people who love to role-play. You can just play by the rules and make up your own things. There have been game masters in my gaming experience who just threw dragon mounts and powerful trinkets and armor and swords at us and made us feel fantastic and powerful and grand. But the greatest times, at least for me, in playing the Dark Eye, were when we would be able to roleplay even something as simple as lighting a fire, or finding the direction in the wilderness, or haggling with a shopkeeper. These are for me the greatest experiences. If you stuck with me this long, first of all, thank you. Second, if you're interested in this kind of world and role-playing system, please leave a comment in order to tell me what you want to hear about next. I honestly do not have any idea what you want to hear, so I'll probably just go on rambling in the next video. But if you have any sort of input, leave it down below, leave a like, maybe subscribe to my channel, and other than that, have a great day. Thank you.